What's good with a YouTube world? It's Coffee back at it with another one, man. We got some news for you guys today. Hit them buttons and get in the comments. But about a year ago, man, an actor passed away after ODing on that Fenty Wap, which is an epidemic we've seen just kill so many people with the whole opiate epidemic, which is something we've talked about on the channel numerous times. Some believe that there's an agenda behind it, as we saw painkillers hit the streets from overprescription from doctors. Then there were stronger pills on the market. Then the pills kind of dried up when a lot of the doctors seemed to all go away, arrested by the feds at the same time. That's when heroin flooded the streets, as it was always around, but it just seemed like it was way more around and way more available than ever. And then next thing you know, all that is tainted with Fenty Wap, to the point where now a lot of places in this country, all it is Fenty Wap. We've seen this kill numerous people, and in this situation we saw it happen to a celebrity. Another celebrity offhand who actually died from Fenty Wap as well is Tom Petty, from Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. So we see that this horrible epidemic, this poison, this toxic drugs in the streets, man-made, just killing everyone. It can hit anyone. You don't got to be poor or just poor. You could be rich, you could be famous, you could be just another individual out there. It doesn't matter. It don't discriminate. It will kill your ass, And before I continue on, I just want to put out there, there's something I always speak on regarding all this stuff whenever this comes up in the conversation, is anyone out there getting high, man, it's a bad time to be getting high. It's not like back in the day where people could experiment with drugs and live to tell about it, be like, man, I was crazy. I remember when I was doing this and that, I was nuts. It's not that era anymore. This is the era of try something one time and go down for the dirt nap. You know what I mean? And not just with the opiates and the Fenty Wap. There's bad, toxic, synthetic versions of all kinds of drugs out there. Real talk. It's dangerous times. So if you are personally getting high yourself, no discrimination, no judgments. Believe me, that ain't my style. And, I'm not the one to judge anyone for that type of ish. Believe me, I've been around the block. We'll leave it like that for now. But if you are getting high, or someone is, and maybe you happen to hear this, I always urge everyone, now's the time to possibly get clean. Or try to get clean. Don't fuck around out there. Don't keep rolling the dice with your life. And if you're not getting high, but someone that is, that's a friend, family, a loved one, maybe try and reach out to them. Because real talk, this is that era where you will die. Now, getting back to talking about Michael K. Williams, who had been in the game for a while when the Wire came out. A lot of people just flat out know him as Omar. That's how big him portraying that character was. It overshadowed him almost as an individual all in himself, where a lot of people would just call him Omar. You know what I mean? The Wire, one of the most popular, critically acclaimed shows of all time. And his character was like very interesting to people. There were so many things about the character that was just like wild to people. I could go on and on speaking about that, but we're more speaking about him speaking out from beyond the grave, as it seems some excerpts from some memoirs that, he wrote. Maybe he knew that he could possibly die, as he had been heavily into getting high since the fame came around, which he had struggled with prior to that, as he had been in the game for a while as a background dancer for Madonna, doing different stuff in the entertainment world and stuff like that. But yes, Omar actually started out as a background dancer, for real. He had his struggles, but what I'm about to share with you, some of these excerpts from his memoirs, when he got into the acting and really blew up, when The Wire came around, which ended up kind of being like a last-ditch effort for him. One more shot to try to push something in the acting world. and everything. And we know that is what happened. And he landed many roles after that based on his portrayal of Omar Little from The Wire. It seems him tapping in with his pain and you know, his experiences in life and everything to portray these characters made him struggle all over again and ultimately, you know, get high. And we see this so often with a lot of talented individuals, whether they make music, whether they act, whether they make any kind of art. You know, often, you know, the pain inside, the life experiences, the unresolved issues that we have within inside us help these individuals, you know, bring up those emotions into real life and express that into what we see on the screen, you know what I mean? Or through their music or whatever the different individuals we're talking about do. So it seems like it can often be somewhat therapeutic, you know what I mean? Sometimes I share with y'all regarding the content that I make. You know, I'm just some schmuck talking into a device, but this could be therapeutic for me, you know what I mean? Everyone's walking around with pain or unresolved stuff inside of them, you know, and it seems with Omar, aka Michael K. Williams, you know, this sent him down a road of addiction that he was all too familiar with at that point. So let me go over some of the excerpts from this memoirs, you know what I'm saying, that he had written before his passing. And now I don't believe they've been released in full. I'm sure it's going to be put out in a book or some type of art form. It's so sad, man. His nephew found him passed away from that Fenty Wap overdose, as no one had heard from him, and they went to go check in on him. And it's wild too, if you guys recall, you know, it hit the news that a federal drug investigation into a group of individuals selling Fenty Wap or heroin tainted with Fenty, you know, were arrested, and there was surveillance footage of Michael K. Williams copping from them, and they actually had audio of these guys talking about, like, yo, did you see that, you know, Omar died? We sold him that. You know what I mean? They had that all on audio on wiretaps. It's crazy. So again, when he got the Wire audition, he had some roles, I believe, in acting. He had did some background dancing and different stuff like that, but ultimately his career pretty much was done off. You know, he was actually working at a daycare owned by his mom at this time, but he, you know, decided for like one last hurrah, if you will, in the acting world, and you know, sending out headshots and everything. And that's when he ended up getting the Omar audition. And he says you know, he received the fax from the audition to, you know, play Omar, to audition for Omar. And he says, at the Omar audition, I was so beat down emotionally. That's the most ironic thing, that F the world attitude helped me get the part. And then it says, apologies, y'all. And again, he had struggled with drugs and everything, you know what I mean, prior in his life. But at this time, he was clean. And then he went on to say, shooting in Baltimore for season 1, I was as sober as I'd ever been, barely even smoking weed. I treated the job like my life depended on it, because in some ways it did. But that age, I'd been on the addiction/relapse merry-go-round enough times to know how things could unravel once drugs entered the picture. And then he says, apologies, y'all. A director calling cut doesn't erase what you're feeling. Your mind feels the fictional the same way it feels the real. That's the flip side of getting into character. You wake up that sleeping beast. I meditate on painful things all day long for a scene, and when it's over, it's little wonder I'm tempted to go off and smoke crack. So right there, guys, you see what I was talking about with getting in touch with what was inside of him to be the best actor he could be and play Omar. Brought things out in him that sent him back down that road into the streets. You know what I mean? You guys know the old saying, like, life imitates art, or art imitates life, or life imitates art that imitates life. You know what I mean? This is an example of that, but that's often the case in so many situations. And then, it just says by season 2, he, you know what I mean, he was a staple of the show, and he got a nice brownstone in Baltimore. And, he was doing his thing, and it goes on to say, I had more money and more time on my hands. My demons had room to play. On days I wasn't shooting, I started getting high on crack and cocaine again until I was completely broke. When season 2 wrapped, I could no longer afford the rent on that beautiful apartment. So there you guys have it. Things are going for him, great for him career-wise. He's on this hit HBO show, season 2. 2 seasons in, he's rolling in money, I guess we could say, doing pretty well, but he's back out there getting high to the point he's pretty much broke. You know what I mean? And so often, guys, everyone thinks, and don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to act like money ain't anything, because believe me, I'm a struggling individual. I ain't struggling like I ain't got ish, but I could be doing better. We'll put it like that, right? But sometimes money ain't the answer, I guess. It doesn't make everything okay. It helps, though. It helps. And then it says by the end of the series, he was plagued about his worth without Omar. And he says, I felt stripped, lost, emptied out. And then, it just goes on to speak about other roles he played after, how he continued to go down this road. And, you know what I mean? Things just got out of control for him. And more recently, if you guys remember, he had that one show that showed a lot about the streets and everything, and people caught up in that lifestyle, and he would try to help them, and he was involved in a lot of activism. It was like he was a very caring dude. Here he is struggling himself, but he's even though, and maybe we know financially, he isn't doing as good as a lot of people probably think he is, you know what I'm saying, because he has this horrible drug problem. But, he's tapped in with a lot of people and has the means to try to help people, and that's what he tried to do. It's so wild sometimes that we don't really know what's going on with people, And then it says that he got into therapy and NA meetings, reconnected with his sponsor, and addressed his trauma head on. And it says, at around 50 years old, I figured out who I am. But now I have to figure out why I am. I made it. Great. Now what? What was it for? If my shoulders aren't strong enough for others to stand on, then I'm wasting my second chance. So hearing that, you can see that this, I don't know when exactly, what he died at, 52, 53. He wrote that at 50. And man, when he, just to give a time frame perspective, when he started and auditioned as Omar for The Wire, he was 35. So this is a 15-year time period. You know what I mean? But a couple of years before his passing, it sounds like he kind of somewhat got his addiction back under control, reconnected with his sponsor, and was in NA and all that, and felt like, he made it and was back in control of his life. But then, was saying, man, I'm not strong enough to have others stand on my shoulders, to help others. Is he wasting his life? Like, I don't know. That's just interesting to me. You know what I mean? So often, and this is just me thinking out loud, freestyling here as I'm about to close out this video. This is interesting, because so often, so many people, like, we think about ourselves. We think about ourselves and, man, if I can just make it, or if I can just pull this move or do this or that. And it seems like Michael K. Williams, the way he measured his success, almost, this is what it sounds from these little excerpts from this memoir. Again, I'm freestyling, maybe I'm wrong, but I'd like to know what you guys think, that, he measured his success or who he was as a human, by what he could do to help others. And that to me kind of shows this guy's true character. You know what I mean? And that's what it's all about in life so often. You know what I mean? We know so many people are superficial, who judge people and different things like that. But one's true character, so many times, like, if you really can get in tune with who people are or who we are ourselves, and know one's true character, it's almost sometimes like that's all you need to know in a sense, right? You know what I mean? You still have to keep things in check and push on in life and everything like that. But I don't know, man. I just thought this was interesting to share with you guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know what roles you liked of his aside from The Wire. Let me know what you guys think about this Fenty with it up in the streets, killing everybody. Let me know your thoughts on it all. And again, if you fucking around out there getting high, or you know someone else is, it's time to try to dead that off. This ain't that era, where you can have a lot of chances at trying to get your itch together. You can die with the quickness. But let me end this video, guys. And real quick, too, you see on one of the jump-offs playing on the screen, it says that Michael K. Williams, who played Omar, as we know, and Jamie Hector, who played Marlo, that both their scars are real. That was a big thing about, obviously we know that. We see them in other stuff, and they always got those scars. That was like, something people mention a lot about Omar. It looked like he got a sword across the face, but apparently it was from a bar fight when he was 25. I don't know what they got him with, man. A box cutter or something in the grill, I don't know. And Jamie Hector, who played Marlo, his was more on the side of his face, but I'm not quite sure how he got his. But comment and let me know what you guys think about all this. If you're interested in more content regarding Michael K. Williams, The Wire, etc., your favorite TV shows. That's another thing I like to talk about on this channel, TV and movies and all that. But with that, I will bid y'all adieu, close the video out. Don't forget to subscribe, guys, and stay tuned. Daily videos dropping, music, news, sports, current events, life, and much more. It's Jay Coffee Talk signing out, and I'm gone, y'all. Peace.